My god Dagon is stronger than your god Yahweh, so
man.
prove me wrong. And for 40 days, Goliath comes out morning and evening and is just pretty much insulting Israel the whole time. In an honor and shame culture, this is pretty devastating because every day that passes without someone accepting the challenge, Israel is
Okay, just want to fix that audio. I feel like that was pretty bad there for a second. Sure do. What up, chat? What up?
It began long ago, on the battlefields of the Great War. Two German scientists sought to harness dark and mysterious forces buried for centuries. They believed their discoveries would assure Germany
publicly admitting that their god can't protect them. Their honor was being systematically destroyed in front of all the other nations. So who should be stepping forward to fight, really? And obviously, that's the king. That's literally what Israel asked for back in the earlier parts of 1 Samuel. They wanted a king like all the other nations who would go out before them and fight their battles. And then you have Saul. The text tells us that he stood head and shoulders above all other Israelites. So he's physically imposing, he's the king, and he's the obvious choice to be Israel's champion here. But here's what makes this even more significant, because Saul is from the tribe of Benjamin. Now, if you know your Old Testament, you would know that each tribe had certain specialties, if you want to call them. Judah produced leaders, Levi was the priestly tribe, but Benjamin actually produced pretty elite slingers. So in
Field
Judges
report,
20, during a civil war
confirming
between
arrival at-
Benjamin and in the rest of Israel, we get this description. Among all these were 700 chosen men who were left-handed. Everyone could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. 700 expert slingers from Benjamin. These dudes were legendary, and everyone in Israel would have known this because it was essentially part of their military tradition. So Saul, the Benjaminite king, whose tribe is famous for producing warriors that could kill a man at 200 yards with a sling, should also be the obvious choice to walk out there and end this. Instead, he's hiding in his tent. The text says he and all of Israel were dismayed and greatly afraid for 40 days, and then ultimately David shows up. Now, David hasn't come to fight. He actually came to deliver food to his brothers who were in the army. But when he gets there and he hears Goliath's challenge, he just starts asking questions, and not quietly. So he ends up walking through the camp, publicly asking everyone there, well, what's going to be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? And then he says this, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Let's pause on that word uncircumcised for a second. That's not just an insult. That's almost a theological statement, because circumcision was the sign of the covenant. It meant that you were in relationship with Yahweh. So Goliath being uncircumcised, which means that he is outside the covenant, which means his gods aren't real, which also means that the God of Israel should obviously be able to defeat him. And so David is saying this out loud in front of soldiers who have been cowering for days. So there we go again. This is a really massive honor challenge. David, this teenage shepherd who literally just arrived, is publicly shaming the entire Israelite army by pointing out what should be obvious, that they're hiding from someone who has no claim on divine protection. And his brother Eliab hears this and gets furious. Classic older brother response, why did you come down here? Who's watching those few sheep? I know how conceited you are, you just came to watch the battle. But David's response is perfect for the honor-shame dynamic. He doesn't get defensive, he just dismisses it. What have I done now? Can't I even speak? Then he turns away and keeps asking the same questions to the other soldiers. His older brother tried to shame David, and then David's just not having it. But ultimately, his message is working. He's starting to get under people's skin, because word actually gets back to Saul that there's this kid in this camp who's publicly questioning why no one's willing to fight.
How's this for now?
This'll hold him for what, 10 seconds? Down to my last few rounds. Walk it off, freak bag!
100%.
and why the king isn't doing his job. And that puts Saul in a really impossible position. Because now David
Good
isn't
old
just
triple
challenging the
slap.
honor of the army, he's challenging the honor of the king directly. And think about how shameful this would be. You have this teenage boy, this shepherd, who's walking through your camp pointing out that you're all afraid to do what you were literally hired to do. And everyone's hearing it. So Saul has David brought to him, and then David says that he'll go and fight Goliath. And Saul's first response is pretty much trying to shame him back. He's just like, you can't go out and fight this Philistine because you're only a boy and he's a warrior from his youth. But then David has an answer. He describes killing lions and bears, plural by the way, that attacked his flock. Hand-to-hand combat with predators that could kill a man. And then he says, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. And it's crazy because like at this point, Saul has no comeback because David just upped the honor challenge again. He's saying, the living God is on our side. Why are you afraid? And Saul can't refute that without admitting that he doesn't trust God. So it's a catch-22 situation. So Saul just says, go and the Lord be with you. Get out of here. But he's got a plan. Saul is not done trying to control the situation. And we're going to come back to that. But first we need to actually talk about who Goliath is for a second. Because this guy isn't just some random tall guy from the Philistine army. When we read about Goliath, we usually focus on how big he is. The text says that he's either 6 feet and a half tall or 9.5 feet tall.
That was one. What the heck was that? Y'all saw that snap?
There is great evil in this place. Spirits and demons walk this land, possessing the remains of fallen warriors.
Can't tell it's round 3.
With this power, many will die by my hand. If I am to survive, I must learn how these machines operate. Such technology would allow Germany to enslave the world.
Alright, bro. I might hop on later. But it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like later.
Perhaps we can secure our immediate surroundings. Great thunder silenced our enemies. I sense a change in our enemy's behavior. We must endeavor to slow their progress. ancient smiles.
Perhaps this music may appease the spirits.
It's not up here. It's all coming back to me, chat. Muscle memory. Here, this one. I think I passed.
With other pieces, this will form a staff of some kind.
Am I done? The other place I could have spawned is over here, right? Oh. Very interesting.
You should not have disturbed the graves of the ancients. Cannot outrun my enemy in this mud. We may use the enemy armor to our advantage. Fragment of some staff. Part of a staff.
Okay, that makes me uncomfy. Still very confused about that.
Move! Grenade! We must cast them out.
Shield.
I am imbued with the warrior spirit.
Rest. And how many points I have? This green.
It is unwise to stand in the path of the robot.
Yeah, that works. Ellie?
Does this gramophone factor into the Germans' plans?
Scary.
I recognize that these parts may prove useful to our endeavor.
It seems clear that music may be the riddle's solution.
I'm doing high rounds, Zachary. Guess I'll try it. I've already done all the Easter eggs.
I believe this group
Alright, I'll run
focus
on
on
all the maps.
ancient power.
Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to get the fire. Is the strategy. I also gotta remember, I need to remember where all the places I need to remember all the places the freaking shield parts can spawn. That was up there. That freaking zombie keeps scaring the crap out of me. Yeah, I think this is upstairs.
some of this. Somehow linked to the fate of the child.
Can't find the pieces, bro.
This may be worth keeping.
Heck. Three dots is that way is
Fruitful.
shit. That makes no fucking sense. Let me just...
I curse this debilitating mud. Done.
That zombies map. For real, bro. Just takes so freaking long to get set up. The only part that sucks about it. I somehow passed the shield part. I looked at all 3 of the correct spots, so I don't understand. This is generator 2, right? Let's make sure. Okay. Against a bench with boxes and rocks right near generator 2. Inside the tank station resting on a box. Oh, there it is.
This is but one part of many.
Understand what we have done.
I have an idea. Shoot! Okay. I'm gonna have to go there anyways for... A wooden crate. Oh, I see. Sir, we are cooking. Should be good now. Still gotta get. Still gotta get the shield part. Ideally. Dang it. Yes.
This modification. This may yet be an effective means for protection.
Alright. Switch around, diamond. Collect souls for this John.
I will keep this safe.
Here. That honestly might be next to that.
A weapon manifests itself from the thin air. This defies reason.
Can you hear me? You have to help me. I'm trapped here. I just want to go home.
Who is this child calling to us?
Go unpunished.
Flow state. No. Okay. I have to build the shield for the heist. Almost finished.
Cast them out. Must be the operation.
Are you serious right now?
I curse this debilitating mud.
Are you serious right now? Do I have all the pieces? Axes? Is that gone, man? I get heat. Wind tunnel.
Found advantage.
Stand up will be nice right now.
It may be wise to retain this, in case a use presents itself.
Yeah, yeah.
You who first drew blood.
Come on.
Touch ends me.
He has no reach. So, oh, that's a camping spot.
We can secure our immediate surroundings.
for dinner, dude.
There is a way to open the gateway. My father was so close. He said, you have to
Bestial true child. I will be cautious.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Rotten flesh.
I'll take that apart later tonight, but
Last breath will freeze within your throat. Kill. Its fault is mine to command. Spirits toy with us. What is the purpose of this lantern?
hurts, I think. Tacos and burritos? Oh man, that sounds so good. Alright, you sound good.
I feel my limbs have a greater fluidity of movement and balance. Reveal the mysteries once more.
The staffs of the ancients were lost. All my copies. You can find them. You can get me out. You can open the gateway to Agartha.
Unnatural thing of this day. I will seek out truth, child.
For the moment, let's worry about ammo.
I ate, I had a homemade chicken. What was like, rice.
Bestow upon me the most dangerous weapon. Even a simple farmer
Very, also
killed his
very
enemy
simple.
with such a weapon.
It was pretty fire, man. Freaking burritos and tacos sound so good. Wow, I don't know why I still feel like I'm not. My stomach is not hungry. Like my stomach feels satisfied, but I just want the taste of just the tacos and burritos.
Or perhaps this weapon was buried by the Germans, man.
Yeah, it's not myself. This one would be my favorite. Blood and the
You will be brought from the very face of the earth.
Riding back to the old
Such crude methods prove effective. Mind you had. It's now removed. Come swiftly! Spirits of my ancestors are with me! Cannot outrun my enemy. Mechanized ones are supplies more energy. What is its purpose? Is elsewhere, foul demon?
Bruh. Give me electric cherry.
I feel different. The demons fight for control of the generator.
Succumb to your sickness!
acknowledge what I have done.
Father said the chambers were doorways. Opened by the sun.
We will crush our enemies! I have released the demon! accursed landscape. Judgment of our wretched enemy.
Fire from the sky, soon engulf this area.
There is no escape from the flames.
Depending on whether you're using the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament, and Dead Sea Scrolls, or the later Masoretic text. Jargon, either way, he's significantly taller than the average person in age, who would have been around 5.5 feet tall. But the detail that matters most isn't Goliath's height, it's actually where he's from. 1 Samuel 17 verse 4 introduces him as Goliath. From Gath. Gath was one of the major 5 Philistine cities, and if you know your Old Testament, Gath should set off alarm bells, because Gath is where the giants are from. Let me show you what I mean. So, back in the book of Joshua, when Israel is conquering the Promised Land, there's this group called the Anakim, essentially giant clans. And Joshua 11, 21 verse 22 tells us what happened. At that time, Joshua went and destroyed the Anakim from the hill country, Hebron, Debir, and Nab, from all the hill country of Judah, and from all the hill country of Israel. Joshua totally destroyed them in their towns. No Anakim were left in Israelite territory. Only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod did any survive. So only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod did any Anakim survive. Goliath is from Gath, the place where the giant clan survived. So now you might say, okay, yeah, he's from a place that had tall people, so what? But it goes deeper than that, because the Anakim are connected to something much older and much stranger. In Numbers 13, when Moses sends spies into the Promised Land to scout it out, they actually come back terrified, and they report what they saw. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them, the Nephilim. That word should sound pretty familiar. It shows up in Genesis 6, right before the flood. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God went into the daughters of humans and had children by them. Now, there's a lot of debate about what exactly is happening in Genesis 6, and I'm not going to resolve that debate here, but what is clear is that the Nephilim are presented as something that shouldn't exist. They're the result of some kind of boundary crossing between angels and humans that leads directly to the corruption of the earth and the need for the flood. See 2 videos ago, because I explained that whole thing. And then Numbers 13 tells us that the Anakim, the giant clans in Canaan, are descended from the Nephilim. And Joshua goes on to tell us that the remnants of the Anakim survived in Gath. And Goliath is from Gath. So when the original audience hears Goliath from Gath, they're not just hearing big guy from big army. They're hearing descendants of the giant clans that are literally connected to the Nephilim and the corruption of all of humanity from Genesis 6. And just to make this connection even clearer, in 2 Samuel 21, after David is already king, there are actually 4 more battles with the giants, the 4 brothers of Goliath. All of them are from Gath, and all of them are from the family of the Rapha, which is another name for the giant clans. So David's men kill them off one by one. So Goliath isn't alone. He's actually a part of a family, and he has a bloodline. And a bloodline that goes back to the Anakim, which goes back to the Nephilim, which goes back to Genesis 6, and the corruption that led to the flood. So keep that all in mind. We'll come back to it. Now, there's one more detail about Goliath that matters, and it's honestly quite easy to miss. So the text describes his armor in detail. So he has a bronze helmet, bronze greaves, a massive spear, but specifically 1 Samuel 17 verse 5 says that he wore scale armor. Scales, like a serpent, like a dragon. Now, you might think I'm reading too much into this, but biblical authors don't include random details like this. When they take the time to specify what kind of armor someone is wearing, who knows, it might actually matter. Because throughout scripture, serpent and dragon imagery is consistently associated with God's enemies. The most prominent example of that is Genesis 3 with the Nakash, or the serpent. And then Isaiah and Ezekiel also use dragon imagery for enemy nations. Revelation describes Satan as that ancient serpent and the dragon. And here's Goliath, descendant of the giant clans, connected to the Genesis 6 corruption, wearing scale armor. And it seems to connect something that most people don't think about when they read the story. So, way back in Genesis 3, after the fall, God made a promise to the serpent. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. The seed of the woman will crush the serpent's head. And from Genesis 3 onward, you see this pattern kind of playing out. There's this ongoing conflict between the seed and the woman, or the line that will lead to the Messiah, i.e. Jesus, and the seed of the serpent, or the forces trying to prevent the Messiah, or Jesus, from coming. Cain kills Abel. The world becomes corrupt with the Nephilim requiring the flood. The giant clans occupy the Promised Land, trying to prevent Israel from taking possession. Pharaoh tries to wipe out all of Israel and Egypt. Haman tries to destroy them in Persia. Over and over, the seed of the serpent tries to destroy the seed of the woman. And every time, God, it's so crazy when you actually see this, God preserves a remnant and defeats the enemy. And so, with all that being said, let's go back to the Valley of Elah. So you've got Goliath from the giant clans wearing serpent armor, defying the armies of the living God, representing the seed of the serpent. And he's threatening to destroy Israel and prove that Yahweh is powerless. And then standing against him is David, from Bethlehem, from the tribe of Judah, in the Messianic line. A shepherd who's about to become king. The seed of the woman about to crush the serpent's head. And here's where that detail about the 5 stones comes in. It's really interesting to notice that David actually picks up 5 smooth stones. And, you know, I always thought that this is, I don't know, maybe he was nervous about missing or something like that. Well, Goliath, as we pointed out before, has 4 brothers, 4 other giants from Gath who will show up later in 2 Samuel, and got killed by David's men. And so I don't think David is bringing 5 stones because he's worried that he'll miss. Seems to be bringing 5 stones because he's planning for multiple targets. 1 stone per giant. And it seems to be that that's a warrior who understands exactly what he's up against. So this is what's actually happening in the Valley of Elah. This isn't a military skirmish. This is actually, I'll just use the term theological warfare. It's the continuation of Genesis 3:15, the seed of the woman versus the seed of the serpent. Israel versus the remnants of the giant clans. Yahweh versus the forces of chaos and corruption. And God's champion, ironically enough, isn't the impressive king with the armor and the height. It's the shepherd boy from Bethlehem. But before David can face Goliath, he needs to be prepared. And that's what we need to talk about next. Because David's background is anything but random, and it is kind of one of the biggest parts to this whole story. And this is what the text tells us about David's preparation. The Bible says that he was the youngest of 8 sons, which meant that he got the job that nobody else wanted, shepherding his father's sheep. And we need to understand what shepherding actually meant in the ancient world. Because contrary to those nice fields with all those sheep everywhere, it wasn't this peaceful pastoral gig where you sit on a hill and play the flute. Shepherding was ultimately a combat role because you're in the wilderness, far from civilization, and you are responsible for very valuable property, sheep, because they were expensive, and losing them meant economic disaster for not only you but your family. And you're also in a territory where predators live, like bears, lions, and wolves. So when Saul tells David that he can't fight Goliath because he's just a boy, this is what David responds with. He just gives him his resume. In 1 Samuel 17:34-36, he says this: "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it down, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear." So this wasn't just a one-time lucky encounter. This was David pretty much sharing his repeated experience. And also notice the methodology here. He went after the predator. He didn't run away or wait for help. He pursued it. And when it turned on him, he just grabbed it and killed it hand to hand. So that's a warrior right there. This is someone who's been in life or death situations and has prevailed. And here's the key thing about that. This is how David spent his time in the wilderness, alone when no one was watching. Every day he was out there practicing with the sling because that's how you protect a flock. You keep predators at range. You don't let them get close enough to scatter the sheep. So if David is getting thousands of hours of practice with this weapon, building muscle memory, learning to judge distance, accounting for wind like a physics class, hit moving targets, and the sling, by the way, is not a toy. This needs to be said because most people picture like a slingshot type thing, like that Y-shaped stick with rubber bands. That's actually a completely different weapon that was invented in the 1840s. A biblical sling is a pouch with 2 cords that you could spin to build momentum before releasing a stone. And so in skilled hands, these things could actually launch stones at like 60 to 100 miles an hour over 200 to 400 yards. So ancient armies had specialized slinger units because they were devastatingly effective. Now, remember those 700 Benjaminite slingers who could sling a stone at a hair and not miss? Expert slingers really could achieve that kind of precision. I think there was the Balearic Islanders were actually so famous for their slinging that they were employed as mercenaries across the Mediterranean. So David isn't practicing with a toy. He's mastering a legitimate military weapon. And there's one more detail that confirms David was already recognized as the warrior before the Goliath fight even happened. Back in 1 Samuel 16, when David is brought to Saul's court to play music, one of Saul's servants describes him like this: "Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, who is skillful in playing, a mighty man of valor, a man of war, and prudent in speech, and a handsome person, and the Lord is with him." So David is described as a mighty man of valor and a man of war. Mind you, this is before Goliath. So people are already calling David a warrior. So when David shows up to the Valley of Elah and volunteers to fight, he doesn't seem to be this native kid who just doesn't understand what he's getting into. He seems to be trained, he seems to have experience, and as a fighter who recognizes exactly what's happening. And also, David seems to be the only one who sees the theological stakes. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? And he has the skills to do something about it. God prepared David through years in the wilderness, through confrontation encounters with predators, through daily practice with the sling, through combat experiences when no one else was watching. And now the moment has come to use that preparation. All right, so Saul has agreed to let David fight, but he makes one last attempt to control the situation. He offers David his own armor, bronze scale armor, helmet, sword, just like what Goliath was wearing. Now, most people read this as Saul was being generous, trying to protect David, but let's think about what's actually happening here. If David goes out wearing Saul's armor, and if David wins, who gets the credit? The soldiers might think it was Saul himself who went out there. Or at the very least, they would see Saul's armor and associate the victory with Saul's house. So Saul is trying to claim the honor even if he won't fight it himself. But David tries on the armor, walks around and says, yeah, I can't go in these because I'm just not used to them at all. And then he just takes it all off. And so this isn't about the armor being heavy because David is a specialist. He's not a heavy infantryman warrior who fights hand to hand with sword and spear. He's a ranged weapon specialist. So armor would ultimately restrict his mobility, slow him down, change his center of gravity, and for what he's about to do, armor is actually a liability. So David picks up his shepherd's staff, chooses 5 smooth stones from a stream, puts them in his bag, and with sling in his hand approaches Goliath. And Goliath is ultimately insulted. Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? He curses David by his gods and promises to feed his flesh to the wild birds and the animals. And here's David's response. You come to me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down. To reiterate, it seems to be like David is making a theological declaration. David is absolutely clear who is going to get the credit. This isn't about David's skill, though he has skill. It's ultimately about God's power proving itself against. The seed of the serpent. And then comes the key tactical moment. As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Now, Goliath is a heavy infantry warrior, probably 150 plus pounds of armor and big weapons, and he's big and strong, but he's not fast. So he's built for close combat. David, on the other hand, is fast, mobile, and a range specialist. And so by running towards Goliath, he's actually closing the distance pretty quickly, and Goliath just seems to have one vulnerability. He's covered in armor, bronze helmet, scale armor, greaves, and a shield bearer in the front. But there's one gap, the face. The helmet has to have an opening for the eyes and the nose. And so that's the target. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead and he fell face down on the ground. With one shot in the forehead, David knocks out Goliath. And the stone doesn't just hit him, it sinks into his skull. The impact was so hard that it literally cracked his bone and either concussed him directly or damaged his brain. So Goliath ends up going down, and then David runs over, pulls out Goliath's own sword, and cuts off his head. Think about that symbolism for a second. Genesis 3:15 says, he will crush your head. Goliath wearing the serpent armor, David crushing his head with a stone, and then using the serpent's own weapon against him. This is the pattern of divine warfare throughout the Bible. God defeats evil by turning the enemy's weapons back on themselves. And when the Philistines see their champion dead, they just scatter and run. And when Israel sees Goliath defeated, they surge forward and shout and pursue. That is the honor restored. The God of Israel has once again proven his supremacy. The divine battle is won, but unfortunately the story is not over, because now comes the real test and really the big point of this video. So Goliath is dead, the Philistines are running, Israel is celebrating, and then we get this moment that always seemed weird. Saul turns to his commander Abner and says, "Whose son is that young man?" His commander says, "I don't know." And then Saul says, "Well, find out whose son he is." And then David is brought before Saul, holding Goliath's severed head, and then Saul asks him directly, "Whose son are you, young man?" Now, if you're reading this in a modern Western context, like I am, this just seems like a simple question about genealogy. But in the ancient Near Eastern context of honor and shame culture, this question is doing something very, very specific. Saul is not asking this question to get information. He's making a claim. And in that culture, when a king asks, "Whose son are you?" after someone has won a great victory, he's offering to adopt that person into his household. He's essentially claiming them. Because if David becomes Saul's son, then Saul's household gets the honor from the victory. The king saves face, and then the narrative becomes Saul's household defeated Goliath, instead of some shepherd kid did what the king was too afraid to do. And now, from David's perspective,
perks. Here's how you do it. Vision has a new power. Empty perk block. So the random perk block. Before you get this upgrade, golden shovel. You dig enough to get the golden shovel. In addition, digging spots, you'll get probably more rare items, and you have less of a chance to get bad results, such as live grenades or zombie. Though there's still a chance they'll occur. Step 2: zombie blood. Zombie blood is another new power up that masculine ray fog makes you look like a zombie for 30 seconds. There are a few different ways you can get some these glowing dig spots. If you locate the glowing dig spot, but don't reach in time and dig it up for you in zombie blood mode, it'll still be there the next time you get a zombie blood. You just have to be able to reach it in time. So you need to be perk block. Spot will pop up 16 random locations at the start of the next round. Estimate of where each of those 16 locations are. Knowing where each of those 16 spots are can reduce the amount of time you spend searching for the elusive glowing dig spot. Go ahead. This video, if you like, print this map out. Feel free to put it on your YouTube. Get a general idea of the list that shows you exactly where to look. Somewhere in the center of the map. Generator 2. Spots you saw on the map. This first location is just out the original spawn that leads to generator 2. Six spawn. It's in that same trench on your way to generator 2. Near 71. For the original spawn, which leads to generator spot halfway to the fire tunnel, right here. It's next to the B-20 in the same direction that leads. A few more dig spots at the bottom of the map, and we're over near fourth one is next to the beach or walleye in that same trench that leads from generator 3. There are a few more dig spots at the bottom of the map, and they're over near generator 2.
Oh, these are fresh.
Bottom, right behind, left near generator 3. I'll cover it in just a moment. Got another zombie blood. It's the same spot that I got it the first time, behind the tank station. Here you'll find the tank spot. That is the tank path that leads from generator 5 down here to the cul-de-sac and generator 2. And another spot will be actually down here in the cul-de-sac. One of the places you may need to search for a dig spot is by itself. Generator 6 is there right next to the route to M70 walleye. Though it's not there in this example, if the dig spot is here, you'll not be able to miss something up here. I start to have problems finding this spot. I would take the list and mark off each of the locations we've already searched. Actually, in this example, a lot of problems figuring out where it is. Searched every single location on the list except for this one right here. Next station, can't create a zombie blood at excavation 6. So about 5 rounds ago, I came down to the bottom of the map, and I've been finding the zombies ever since. And so far, I have not been out with zombie blood. Okay, friends. Now that I think about it, actually, this will happen. Things for to locate.
Cannot outrun my enemy in this mud.
In this example, I'm out of staff now. Give me some shots. I'm saving that. Simply relying on staff. Just use whatever basic 5-round survival technique or her. Basically, need your iron fists. One killed 137. What you say? And if you've never gotten your iron fist before, I'll also have a tutorial on how to do that. Every step is explained, but you need those fists. Most important times, eventually you get to the tunnel, and there it is. This is just outside the rear tank station where the tank has to stop and recharge its batteries. This clip, I'm up by generator 3, buying perks out of the Wonderfizz machine. My perk as soon as you open the additional slot. Until you unlock to also, dig spot at generator 3, right here. Not the only generator area. It's down here. See it from the tank. Not sure exactly how many perk slots you've opened. Just keep trying to buy perks. Eventually, it will tell you. It's 6 perks. That's how many slots you have. More important, just to get all 9 perks. It's very good. Teach you what's going on this machine. Yes. Double tap. Double tap has to be the last perk. As soon as you start getting
our life.
Curse this debilitating mud. A giant robot comes this way.
not worry about ammo!
There we go. Is the game muted? Or is it just my mic? Incredible. Awesome. God, I really wish I had stamina, damn it. Oh, dang it. This is tragic. Yeah, he's walking onto the every zombie outside the map. That's lovely.
I will.
Those two places. Poopy, bruh. Poop. I have a couple spots I can check. Jeez, bruh. Go back.
Around second, third, or dig site. So that dig site will remain in that position regardless if you get it within like a zombie blood. If I get it and I see it, but I don't have enough space to get there, even if zombie blood ended, it will stay there the entire. Get there, second, third, or fourth dig site. Also, that dig site will remain in that position regardless if you don't get it within your first or second zombie blood. Get it and I see it, but I don't get there, even though the zombie blood blood ended. It was still staying in the entire game, and so I come back and dig it up. Perks, and you can only get 9 perk. So you actually have to get every single perk besides double tap, and once you spend 30,000 points on the map.
Oh my goodness. Screw you, bro. Gotta be flying, bro.
Cannot outrun my enemy in this mud.
Come on, I just want the dig spots by making it so hard.
We'll go to the reward chest where you actually get a free perk. You can set it on and we'll show you 9 perks, and also guys, when you ban a zombie Chronicles have origin. You guys play Black Ops. I learned with the hard way. So to take up empty perk bottles with the golden shovel. For Black Ops 3, pretty much nothing has changed. Everything has been exactly the same. In this video, I'm going to show you guys it in my easy to be called bubblegums and a few guys here and there. And we're all 60 locations are, so it's pretty difficult to find if you're doing this for the very first time. Get 8 perks, you will need a few things beforehand. First of all, you obviously need the gold. That is the key to the perk. You don't have to get this here to dig up 30 perks exactly. The early content and the really strategy to do this faster or anyway. All you have to do. That's pretty much it. You'll get it usually, and like I said before, really cycle almost on it. You won't need a zombie blood. You can do
What a waste of time. Oh my fucking god.